So you know Michael Jackson had that skin condition, but he tried to make the rest of himself white instead of making those bits black again. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Yes, of course. Thank you for returning for another bedazzling, razzling, fandangling episode of Radio Rufus, the greatest piece of serialized media in the history of produced content, and most popular. That is true. We are now the number one most listened to podcast of all time. That's a real fact. Just got the stats in. Every week, we bring you the most amazing, mind-bending, paradigm-shifting, mood-altering news, sports, games from around the world. It's your traditional radio show with a twist. As always, I, Rufus Rice, am joined by my questionable co-host, Aidan. Say hello, Aidan.
Hello.
And some of the stories are not quite as fresh as you'd imagine because, as always, we are like Minecraft players in a cave full of diamonds, basking in the vintage glory of our 60s radio studio. Every week, also, the analogies get worse.
Really running out of them.
Yep, because I never think of them in advance, so I have to come up with one on the spot. These are the stories this week. Into our first segment, not news. Here's what hit the headlines. A Nashville police officer has been fired for appearing in an ONLYFANS video. A gathering of people named Kyle fails to set a world record. And the North Carolina Senate votes to ban wearing masks for any reason. Right, we'll start off with our first story then. A member of the opposition in Nashville has been removed from his role as a federale after he was identified following a starring role in an amateur porn film. The pig got his hog out on video, in which he plays the role of a police officer whilst wearing his real uniform. Desk jockeys at the department identified the Rosa from the GARMS and terminated him, calling his actions outrageous and disrespectful. I've got to say, if you're going to be in a porn film, don't do it in your own job. I think you got to throw people off the scent.
Yeah, a policeman can't be a policeman. He needs to be like a pizza delivery guy or something.
At least be a fireman.
Yeah.
At least. And in his real uniform as well. It literally said his name on the thing.
Oh, fuck, the name badge would have got thrown away. But I do appreciate the fact that he's wearing an authentic costume because it would be a lot easier to buy into the lore compared to if he's wearing like a cheap Halloween alternative that you get like on Amazon.
And genuine question here, do you like to get a bit of the plot in for the porn? Does that, or are you skipping?
I like the storyline.
Genuine question.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for anything. I just like...
I meant sort of porn in particular.
Yeah, that as well.
Because if I'm watching a normal film, I'm not skipping the plot.
It adds to a bit of anticipation around it. You want to know...
But you are being serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure I have the sort of patience to sit through terrible acting and writing.
It depends on how long it went on for. Like if it's like 15 minutes and they're generally just having a conversation, I'll be like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, what's your limit before skip?
I feel like in my wanking prime, whenever I
Are we talking that 2018?
I would say 14, 15.
This season.
Yeah, the numbers have dropped significantly. It's not really...
Chelsea won that season, right?
Yeah.
But you were in your prime.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah. But I'd say maybe 3 minutes max, and then I'd be like, right, jumping through it a bit.
How old were you in 14, 15?
14, 15.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
You're from the year 2000.
I am indeed. Well, 99, but the last
so that would be your prime then, 14, 15 season. What a year that was.
Yeah. What about you? Are you currently in your prime?
No. Because I'd like to think I'm still in my prime, but I think the stats lie. Because when I was at boarding school, imagine having no parents around or anything.
Yeah. Just out of boredom, you'd do it. We talked about admin wanks in one of the last episodes. Like every hour of the day, you're just like looking at the clock thinking, right, I've not got much on.
Yeah, admin wanks.
Yeah.
But that's to break up the day, whereas I think this was just to like, there's literally no oversight. Imagine being a randy like 14-year-old teenage boy with no oversight. You'd be cranking the hog 5 times minimum.
Yeah.
So
I suppose
I can never get back to those levels.
you've recently previously spoke about Destroy Dick December. Surely that's your prime. If you've got what day did you get like 6 or 7?
Day 6.
That's a lot of wanks.
For anyone who doesn't know, for context, Destroy Dick December is a humorous challenge in which you attempt to sequentially increase the number of wanks you have every day during the month of December, starting off with 1 on day 1, and going up 1 more every day, so 2 on day 2, until you have 25 merry nuts on Christmas Day and 31 on New Year's Eve.
Oh, it doesn't stop at Christmas Day?
No, it's the whole...
Fuck, I thought it was like an
month.
advent calendar type thing.
Yeah, it starts off easy,
Yeah.
very quickly becomes painful, before becoming genuinely impossible if you just on time.
I would say after day 4, you're just spunking out dust.
Yeah.
You couldn't have anything left after 4 in a day.
Cock looks like a pepperoni, big boy. You're taking off the top layer of skin already. The friction is unbelievable.
I have no doubt people would have claimed to have completed this before, but I don't think anyone has had 30
I just genuinely don't believe it's possible, because like not sleeping 31 wanks in a day, you're still averaging like 1.2 wanks an hour.
Yeah, I don't think that's not possible at all. I don't think.
It's definitely not. Anyway, getting back to this story. So the film itself that this police officer appeared in contains, in my opinion, one of the great plots of modern cinema. It depicts a woman in a car being pulled over in a traffic stop, simulated. She then utters the unforgettable and iconic line, "I'm not going to get a ticket. I'm going to show him my tits." The officer identifies himself as Officer Johnson of PD, which I like a lot. That's good. There's solid script writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before demanding license and registration, the woman then exposes her breast to the officer, who acts unimpressed.
Oh.
He says, "Ma'am, it's 2024. I can see tits on the internet anytime."
Those words should be uttered to any depraved individual that ever thinks about actually paying for an OnlyFans or subscription.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a really incredible point, and I'm glad that they got this sort of higher level of discourse into a film of this quality.
Yeah, it's a social commentary.
Yeah, honestly, genuinely, that's quite good scripting for an amateur porn film.
Yeah.
Yeah. The officer says that before the woman offers to let him grope her. The rest of the video shows the officer and woman, quote, touching each other in a sexual manner. What I'm interested in is who found this video, identified the guy, and then brought it to the boss at the police station. That's the mechanism, and it hasn't been reported on.
You know what it clearly is? It's just another police officer that really fetishizes his own career. And he's looking up like police porn, police like a traffic stop gone wrong or whatever. And he's trying to have a wee wank on his tea break. And then he found his colleague and he's jealous that he's living out his own dream. So he's reported
out of spite.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a spite report, 100%.
Yeah. Because if I was working at the police station and I found this video, I'm not sure I'm bringing that to my boss.
Yeah, because it just shows that you're a bit of a wrong-un yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's something going on here. Also, it's not just like free and available everywhere. Like we've all heard about this video before. This is like pretty niche.
Yeah.
This is pretty niche pornography behind a paywall.
So he's paid. He's been following this girl probably for months, and then he recognizes
Officer
a familiar
Johnson's
face.
turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the officer's face is not in the video, so he didn't recognize the face.
Badge.
The knob, probably.
The knob.
I don't know what goes down in the police stations. But yeah, absolutely. Anyway, if you are that fired police officer, if you are Officer Johnson of PD, we'd love to have you on. So you can talk about the end of your career and what you're going to do next. Because you're not getting another police job, there's no way.
I clicked on this article whenever you linked it and read up a bit about it. And at the start of it, it said that OnlyFans, for like a brief period, actually banned pornography.
I remember this. They did that, realised it was their entire business model, and then reversed it.
That's like Spotify banning music. What's the point in OnlyFans of that's the whole point of it.
I like that Spotify, but instead of there's no music, it's just the ads between the music. It is a bit like McDonald's banning beef, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange.
What else are you gonna do? It didn't work. They did go back on it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I don't see a world where we have like Radio Rufus behind a paywall on OnlyFans. If that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, so what they were thinking is people putting like cooking videos up,
Yeah.
or that sort of stuff.
But,
Essentially, Patreon,
Yeah.
which already existed and had no pornographic links. So, what was OnlyFans gonna do? I don't know. Very weird decision. I remember that. It's in 2021, I think. I was in Spain when the news broke.
Were you thinking, fuck, I'm gonna have to like unsubscribe from all these accounts before they start
I'm saving a lot of money. On to our next story then. A gathering of people named Kyle has failed to set a world record. Now to the winner of the Worst Smelling Story of the Week award as we head over to Kyle, Texas, which is a town in Texas.
Called Kyle?
Called Kyle.
Right.
It's the second time officials in the city have attempted to set the world record for most people gathered in one place with the same name. By inviting Kyles of all ages, but mostly probably about 35, to turn up at a park it's near Austin. This year, they managed to get 706 Kyles to turn up.
Too many Kyles.
Which, that actually sounds like quite a good figure, especially when you compare it to last year's 1,490.
They've halved their numbers?
They've halved the numbers.
Do you reckon just a lot of the Kyles fell out with each other at that Kyle convention, or...?
Yeah, they probably like drank too much Monster and then got beat up. They died of like Dorito dust inhalation and asphyxiation.
I don't feel like, you know what you were saying about the average age being like 35? Kyle is one of those names that I can't picture a baby Kyle. I can't picture
or an old person.
Yeah.
Because there are some names which are definitely old people names.
Yeah.
Like throw one out there.
I'm just thinking Irish ones like Sean and Seamus and Margaret and
like Seamus.
Yeah.
But I can't picture anyone really young or really old being called Kyle. I think there's a really specific age bracket of
there's like a golden era of Kyles.
Yeah.
That was probably around the 80s, early 90s.
Being born.
Yeah.
Which would make them sort of 30s, yeah. Now, I think that's right, yeah. Although it should have never been it's a horrible name.
I've only ever known a couple of Kyles and most of them have been dickheads.
I've known none.
Yeah.
Because I went to school with a lot of Indian people and they don't tend to be called Kyle.
That would be a fucking rogue shout.
Shout out to my man Adiraj. What's up? So half as good as last year, so a total failure on that front. And the title of most people in the same place at the same time is currently held by a random Bosnian town that the Associated Press, who we stole this story from, didn't even bother to name. They got 2,325 Ivans together in 2017. So it's not even close.
In any battle, I'm taking an Ivan over a Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of Slavic steel.
There's also only 706 of them compared to 2,300.
Yeah, but I mean 1-to-1.
Oh, 1-to-1, yeah. I mean, it's a crap effort by the city of Kyle, Texas. Should be ashamed of itself.
How many other people named Rufus do you think there is in the UK?
Right. Let me count the ones I've met. There was that guy on the sailing course I did when I was 15.
Right.
He was called Rufus. I met an Australian guy, which doesn't fall within the scope of this question, does it? But everyone called him Rufo.
Rufo?
Yeah. I think obviously a lot of dogs, but I also don't think they count.
It's better than Rufy.
Yeah. The first person to call me that on a regular basis was my year 7 music teacher.
It's a strange person to be calling you that.
I thought it was hilarious, man.
Yeah. I would have assumed you would have said one of your mates or something, but
no, I don't think we really knew what a roofie was at the time.
Yeah.
But he thought it was hilarious and we didn't get it. But
he was maybe a bit too well versed in Rohypnol at that age.
Wow, yeah, not putting anything out of the question.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think names have intrinsic properties. Like, we say Kyle, we immediately picture a sort of gamer, motorbike gamer with a neck beard.
Serious bit of swamp ass.
Yeah, really bad swamp ass. Yeah. And I think if I had any other name, I wouldn't be here today, honestly.
Do you know for the first 3 months of knowing you, which is probably only like the 5th now. So up until very recently,
2 months ago, yeah.
I thought it was like a stage name, Rufus Rice.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a character out of the Spider-Man universe with like the alliteration and stuff.
I know. It doesn't sound like a real name.
Nah. But it's a cool name, I think. Like it suits you
I'm
perfectly.
happy with it because it's memorable.
Yeah.
And I think it's in my family, we all have alliterative
really?
names. It's going back a while now. Back to my great-grandfather, Ronald Rice.
Are you the first Rufus Rice?
Yeah. And we're running out of ours.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I'm going to have to call my kid, like, Rumpelstiltskin or something, something stupid.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think names have intrinsic properties. I think there are some names which are hotter than others.
Right. Have you got an example?
Like, what's a hot girl's name?
I'm just thinking of Munter names, to be honest.
Yeah, go on. Give us a munter name. It works the same the opposite direction, I think.
Susan. Yeah.
So everyone called Susan they trend
It
up.
would be a nice surprise if they weren't. But that's kind of biased because they're kind of tainted by Susan Boyle.
Yeah, she's giving them a bad rep.
Yeah.
I think, like, Francesca, for example, is a hot name.
That's your bias, though, because you had a bit of a fling with a Francesca.
Wait, so you think this isn't true?
I know where you're coming from, but it doesn't necessarily make them that way, because if you met a Francesca that's a Munter, does that completely shatter this illusion for you?
Yeah. Now I'm looking at it, it's a stupid idea. I have met so many girls called Maddie who are hot. There's Hot Maddie, Cute Maddie, Leng Maddie, and...
Lost Maddie?
No. No. And I wasn't trying to make a Maddie McCann joke. That is a genuine point. And you didn't even let me get to Posh Maddie at the end. So that's 5 hot Maddies.
Posh Maddie is Lost Maddie?
No. She's from Leicester.
I thought her family was right and well off.
I don't think so.
Well, they had enough to fund the fucking search party after offing her themselves.
I don't know all the details, man.
Yeah.
So there we go. You completely derailed my point. And we're going to move on to the next thing. The North Carolina Senate has banned wearing masks for any reason. We move on to our favourite mini segment. It's American Unintelligence again. So the primary responsibility of the North Carolina Senate is passing laws to improve the lives and welfare of all citizens in North Carolina. Republican mentalist Buck Newton, who sponsored this new bill, he's very much the man behind the mask here. So there's a new bill. It's been passed by all the Republicans, voted along party lines, to ban anyone wearing masks in public, even for health reasons. Just at all, right?
This is what happens when you place people named Buck in power.
Yeah, Buck Newton is a great name.
Yeah.
He argues that it will help pretend. Oh, I can't. So he argues that it will help prevent violent protest and crime. He's essentially bringing back a law from the 1950s, which is about 5 years ago on this show.
Yeah.
Meant to target the KKK.
Okay.
So, obviously back then, you weren't allowed to wear the hood and everything because it might conceal your identity and you may commit some crimes, right? He's basically bringing that back, but the KKK doesn't exist anymore. And it's not just for it's not just for criminals. It's for everyone, including terminal cancer sufferers.
I feel like cancer patients have enough on their plate.
Yeah, I know.
If they want to wear a mask, let them.
Buck said it would help police identify protesters and that police will be expected to use, quote, common sense and not to use the law to arrest, quote, granny in the Walmart. Which is a great phrase.
For the average US policeman, it probably depends on the colour of the granny.
Big expectations here.
Yeah.
Common sense and USPD do not go hand in hand. Also, yeah, very good point about the colour of the granny.
Yeah.
So the law bans masks for everybody, not just protesters or people who commit crimes. There's a senator, Sidney Batch, he's a cancer survivor, who unsurprisingly voted against this bill, said that someone walking around with tuberculosis is now no longer allowed to wear a mask in North Carolina.
That's a bit mental.
So that's what I'm saying. Nobody is allowed to wear a mask.
Even if you're really, really infectious.
Yeah. It's not allowed. It's against the law now because they think that people who commit crimes in masks, right,
Yeah.
You know, they want to be able to identify people who commit crimes.
I was going to say this is natural selection, but it won't be fucking Buck Newton and co dying to this. It'll be like your average people that probably don't believe in it.
Yeah. And like, there are some things, like in California, for example, it's illegal to wear a mask whilst committing a crime. Makes sense. It's not going to stop people doing it,
Nah.
but it is illegal. But here, it's just illegal, full stop.
I feel like the backwards Irishness in me is coming out a bit here because, see, like, over
You quite
in
like
London-
this.
I don't, not the mask thing so much, but see people wearing like their hoods up indoors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd have got fucking slapped in the side of the head if I'd done that whenever I was younger.
Really?
Or see as well, wearing a cap indoors. I'm wearing a fucking hat now, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really help my argument. But that's just like bad manners back home.
Yeah, I remember that. It's sort of elbows on the table era
Yeah.
sort of things, which doesn't even cross my mind anymore. But at school, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Take your hat off indoors. I've never understood why it's rude to wear a hat indoors. Do you actually know?
Not a clue.
Yeah, me neither. Because there are some things I understand why you don't do that.
It's just, it's like ingrained in me now to think that fucking cheeky prick was hat on. Even though I see no reason
Really?
for it.
Hey, round the office, you must be thinking that a lot then.
Surrounded by them.
Yeah. So that's a fantastic new law. Big progress made in North Carolina. Unfortunate to anyone walking around with Ebola, the Zika virus, bovine TB. You now will be passing it on to everybody out there. Now, we move on to our sports segment, Snatch of the Day. And it's been a controversial one this week. We're covering the Cheeseball Championships we did last week. And we've got we had a controversial result.
Very controversial.
I thought I won. I found another what's it on the floor after I was done and attempted to secretly eat it without anyone noticing. I got caught. But at the same time, I feel like I deserved a win. And Aiden was rather slow, so I don't feel like he really deserved it. What does the VAR say now we've referred it? Here we go then. We've got the footage.
You can see you reach down, and there I just finished mine. So that's the last two in the mouth. Then you slip it in.
I was really hoping no one would spot that.
Even if I didn't in person, I fucking watch these back before they go out.
You're still chewing?
So are you.
Yeah. So who swallows? Because you got to eat the whole thing.
You said that I was really slow. Okay.
We're both still chewing. I want to see who swallows these what's-its first. That's what's important to me.
It was that marred in controversy. I forgot about the chewing. I was just more concerned about your cheating.
But we're both still chewing.
Yeah. We're both still talking. We're trying to plead our cases.
I think at this point I finished it and you're still chewing.
You're still chewing there.
No.
You
I'm just talking.
I saw a few chews.
I thought that we were going to come in here with a decision, not we were going to have to argue it out like, once again.
You said that you felt you deserved it because I was really slow. But if you had finished that, I had one left. That would have been a photo finish.
For all we know, you're still hiding one under the desk.
I checked after. I checked.
You're clean.
Cheating scum.
I'm not letting this win slip between my fingers because of some VAR bullshit.
We matched each other what's it for what's it, which I think is actually pretty amazing. You know that Lightning McQueen finish where he sticks his tongue out to get over the line?
Yeah.
That's
But
what
I feel like I'm Lightning McQueen.
Now you're the cheating cunt that put his tires out. I'm Lightning McQueen.
So we still haven't decided it.
You claimed a David versus Goliath victory, but I think that's in vain. And I think the only way to settle it is Quavers next week.
Yeah. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, yeah.
Quavers.
Yeah.
You're actually so right. We have to. Okay. Quavers in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That will settle the true winner. We can't decide it now.
That was my friend Owen's suggestion, so we're gonna
Perfect.
get
Thank you,
bags
Owen.
of Owen, or 2 bags of Owen. We're gonna get 2 bags of Quavers in and settle this once and for all.
Like real men.
Yeah.
Because there's no way we can talk this out because I'm just not going to agree with you.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna agree with you.
Yeah.
This would be another plain food argument.
Yes, exactly. In which case, I was wrong then,
Yeah.
but I will take victory in this one. Right. Moving on to our proper sports story then. Norwich and toilets related to this one. Norwich footballer Shane Duffy has attempted to justify his weird toilet habits by calling them a superstition. The Irishman has a lucky toilet at each football stadium he visits, When he first turns up, he selects a cubicle and then refuses to use another one for the duration of the fixture. Quote, if there are 3 cubicles and someone is in my one, I have to wait. Sometimes I'll move people across and say, get out of there, even though the other ones are empty.
Right.
It's weird, I know, but the boys know about it now. I don't pick which cubicle until I get to the ground. Then I stick to it.
My main question here is, how many shits are you having, Shane?
Exactly.
That you need to... Surely you go once or twice, that's it.
A man with a superstition this weird does strike me as a toilet pisser as well, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's selecting the urinal.
As an Irishman, I'm quite fond of Shane Duffy. He was our international player of the year for 2 years running.
Not a lot of competition there.
He was literally a championship centre back, was our biggest goal threat for 3 seasons. I think he hit 7
was
or 8
he on
goals.
pens?
He was literally just from corners. He was a good header of the ball.
Yeah, fair. I think I've got a little bit of a confession to make. I think I do this.
You think you do this?
I think so.
You do always go to the same toilet for the pre-show piss. At the same time, I always use the disabled one opposite.
Do we both do this?
Fuck, we're out in Shane, but I think
I always go in the same urinal for my pre-show piss.
yeah,
It's furthest right.
yeah.
It would feel weird using the other one, but there's never anyone else in there.
See,
And you
to
always
be
take
fair,
the disabled toilet, but I feel like that's just because you're a bad person, not because of any
why not?
superstition.
Bit of space.
Yeah, to be fair, there aren't any disabled people here.
In fairness, the toilets beside our office, the cubicle I choose to go into is literally just whichever one has the least skid marks that day.
Yeah.
I don't know who we work with, but it is absolutely criminal.
In those toilets, I went in after Theo Baker once.
Brutal.
Huge mistake.
Whenever I first started here, that was how I met him. He came up in those 2 urinals
You smell
and
him
just
coming.
pissing beside me, and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
that's Theo.
Yeah. Nah, mate, I came up here to do a podcast before I worked here.
Yeah.
And he was the guest previously. I went for my traditional pre-show piss, and it looks like he'd gone for a post-show shit. Oh my god, you could taste it.
Absolutely destroyed the place.
Oh, the air was thick. You could bite down on the air.
Did you have to piss any of the skid marks away for him?
I mean, that is my idea of cleaning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sometimes
you're welcome,
that's the most efficient thing you can do in a day.
It's literally 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. According to Duffy, this superstition has netted the team 3 away wins in league and cup games, and him personally 3 away goals.
So he's fully attributing his team's success to which bog he decides to have a slash in pre-game.
Yeah, also, it's a bit loosey-goosey as well, because he selects a cubicle, but there's no process there.
Yeah.
It's not like he takes the one furthest on the left every time, which is
understandable, I think.
it's a little bit more understandable because at least you can look at that and go, well, he's obviously got OCD.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just, he's sort of random with it.
I think the one closest to the wall is a good shout because you're not surrounded.
Always.
You've only got someone to the left or the right.
Yeah. You know what I like? I often go to Victoria Station, I transit through it, and if you have a shit there, it's always absolutely rammed. It's always got a line.
Yeah.
And I love lining up for the bogs because as soon as someone comes out, they've just dropped the most steaming shit right in there. And it's got no time to dissipate, no time to marinate. And you walk in there and burn your eyes. And you're like, oh, God. So, I went in there the other week. Some homeless man came out and I was like, oh, God, we're really in for it here. Yeah. And we were. I'm laying down toilet paper around the rim, mate.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
need
getting
to.
anywhere near that.
You need to create a moat between
I think
your
you could
ass
get a
cheeks.
heroin addiction just from sitting on that toilet. Yeah, this superstition worked particularly well this weekend as Norwich lost to Leeds 4-0.
Do you know what's mental about Shane Duffy that I don't know if it's common knowledge over here?
I think this is all going to be niche Irish knowledge. I can feel it.
Do you know I used to go out with Katie Price?
Really?
Yeah.
Pre or post Harvey?
Post Harvey,
So
long post Harvey.
He was sort of a father figure to Harvey Price.
Maybe for 3 weeks,
For
the
3
duration
weeks.
of the relationship.
Fantastic.
You think she would have learnt her lesson though after the first footballer she got with?
Okay, that's a reference. I have no idea what it is.
Do you know Dwight York?
She with Dwight York.
Dwight York is the father of Harvey.
Is he really?
And he just fucked off whenever he saw how he turned out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, Dwight used to be a striker for United. I think he's from Trinidad and what do you call the place? Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, he's definitely from out there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that is the country he's from.
I think a lot of people think he's an English player. Because I think a lot of people actually think he's Andy Cole.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Dwight York is an English name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's from York or somewhere. Moving on to the weather now. Drizzle kicks coming at you, and it's bad news, I'm afraid, for all my Asians out there. And there are a lot of Asians.
There are.
I did a challenge trying to name 100 in 10 minutes and got to 77.
Which I think is very, very impressive.
Considering there are only 2 billion Asians, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is the weather event that has by far affected the most people that we've ever covered on the show. So vast swathes of South and Southeast Asia have been sweltering in a huge heat wave encompassing the continent. So 41 provinces of the Philippines are officially in a drought. Temperatures hit 40 degrees in Bangkok the other day. With humidity conditions and everything, meant it felt like 52 degrees on the ground, which is that's like Death Valley temperature. This is starting not to be able to survive here, boys. Every school in Bangladesh was closed last week. India is considering postponing their national elections after concerns about the effects of heat on voters. I don't know what effects that would be.
Do you think they're going to get heat stroke and vote for the opposition or something?
I don't know. Or are they just going to not turn up? They're going to collapse in the line? I don't know. Anyway, also shout out to my dad who, no joke, yesterday went to India.
Is he going to vote?
He's going to commit fraud. No, he's actually genuine little insight into the Rice family here. We've got a history in India. I don't want anyone to take that the wrong way. Very above board and legitimate history in India of missionaries going over there and trying to convert the locals to Christianity in the 1800s. And there's a church in Bangalore in South India called the Rice Memorial Church, which is named after my sort of great grandfather. Still there, still a church. The 100th anniversary was a few years ago, so that's the last time I went.
Yeah.
And he's going to do some things about that.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking niche knowledge, alright.
Pretty niche knowledge. Now everybody knows.
That's one place I wouldn't want to have a shit.
Well, India.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
I have
just be shitting in streets and stuff there.
I have had a shit in India.
In the street?
No. They do have toilets in India, believe it or not.
But is that as common as people would believe? In the more
I definitely saw a lot of piss in the street.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about actual poo.
Yeah.
But I think we went there for 2 weeks. I think I was holding it in most of the time.
Yeah.
Because the toilets are those ones which don't have any toilet. It's sort of all below ground.
Yeah.
And you have to squat, which I'm not I get it. That's an effective way to have a shit. But I don't have the technique for that. I'm really scared about slipping over and falling in the hole.
Have you ever had a shit outside?
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of a wild shit.
Yeah, it's the most freeing thing I've
Liberating,
ever done.
I was going to say.
It's the complete middle of nowhere, but one summer I was doing plasterboarding with just some fella from over the road.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, we got caught sort of short, and we were doing a house that was very kind of early in the stages of its build, and it didn't have any plumbing or anything yet. And I really needed a shit. I hadn't touched fibre in about 3 weeks before this, so I knew it was going to run out of me.
I need some Raisin Bran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, I was only 15 at the time, so I asked, what do I do here? We're about fucking 3 hours away from civilization.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, there's bog roll in the van. So he must have encountered this regularly. But I went over, and I remember it looked like cow shit. It just piled up in a puddle.
The texture's really worrying.
I also just had to leave the toilet roll there.
Right,
which I think differentiates it from cow shit once you see fucking bog roll beside it. But
yeah. I'm not sure cows can reach round that far. I did a wild shit once, a memorable one.
Yeah.
I was on a school trip. We were hiking through the mountains.
Yeah.
And they were so environmentally conscious on this trip, the organisers, that you're not allowed to have a shit in the woods and just leave it there. Because, right, humans consume artificial products.
Yeah.
And then if you have a shit and you leave it there, whatever rubbish you've been eating. It's like going to infect the soil, right?
Seeping down into it.
Yeah, so that you're not allowed to leave there, even though they're fucking drilling for oil in Alaska, and like, you know, apparently this is going to make a big difference. So we had a poo tube. So when you take shit, the protocol was do it in a bag.
That sounds like a OnlyFans competitor.
Yeah, what, poo tube?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do it in a bag, you tie it, and you pop it in the tube.
Right.
And every day someone had to carry the tube, like, around with you.
Did you ever get that? It's like
no.
it's like the Olympic torch.
It's like the Olympic torch, but what's the opposite of an honour? But the main challenge was getting it in the bag. Because it's like a plastic bag. Like, trying to do a shit. Imagine trying to do a shit in one of those bags they have at the fruit section of the...
Oh.
And you've got to, like, sort of hold it open
Especially
and not get any shit on your hand.
They're see-through as well, so, like, it's kind of...
see-through.
You might get caught short thinking it's on the inside, and then you try and grab underneath the bag, and you're like, fuck me, you missed.
I considered the dog approach to do it on the ground and then sort of... But I decided I didn't really want to feel my own shit.
Yeah.
So I just went for the baggy approach. Fortunately, got it all in.
Nice one.
Whacked it in the poo tube. And then the poo tube at the end of the trip goes to the poo shed, which is where they keep all the poo tubes. Honestly, that's the most hooning place I mean, it smelled so disgusting. Because it was literally just poo.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like waste disposal without any of the proper protections. It was a shed. Yeah. So that's good. So that's the weather. Right, moving on now to...
That was a 10-minute conversation about shit.
That was the weather.
Very little of that had anything to do with that Asian heat wave. By the way, Asian heat wave sounds like the name of a K-pop band.
Asian heatwave.
Yeah.
It's kind of... Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
That could be like... I was about to say their Eurovision entry, but then it occurred to me.
Spotted the flaws there. Yeah, I can't wait to see... I think South Korea's got a really good shot to win the Euros this year. Right, moving on to questionable then. This is the segment where we pose a tantalising query to the audience and read out and react to the best responses. This week, I asked, what's the funniest injury you have sustained? Funniest injury. This was a terrible mistake to answer this question. I got a lot of pictures of sort of severed fingers and broken jaws and like stuff, which I swiftly deleted from my Instagram message request.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we do have some fantastic responses. Let's get through to these. I shot myself in the dick with a BB gun at point blank range. My mate handed it to me, failed to tell me it was loaded. I wanted to look like a gangster and put it in my waistband. You know, like Franklin from GTA.
You have to have the safety on or you're trying that.
The trigger turned out to be very sensitive, and as I was tucking it in, I accidentally caught the trigger, dropped to the floor in agony, didn't know whether to laugh or cry, thought my shaft may never work again, which is an interesting... You thought, like, the whole shaft wasn't...
Yeah.
Yeah? It did, however, and I had a rather painful tug later that same day. Brave tug.
I'd give it to the next morning at least.
I'd leave it for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really brave tug there. Have you tugged through injury before?
I've injured during a tug.
Really?
I
Hand
feel like
injury?
I've definitely pulled a hamstring or something in an aggressive one.
I've definitely cramped up,
Yeah.
for sure.
Maybe more chance of a cramp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early morning, not enough fluids in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, broke my hip taking a corner. That's pretty good. It's like, how much swaz are you trying to put on this corner?
Yeah. An unnecessary amount of swaz.
Taking a corner. You just collapse near the flag? Yeah.
Your body just must completely betray you as you try and swing in.
Broke your hip, that's like an old person injury as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know many young people who have broken a hip.
No.
Hope you get a new one.
We've mentioned one on this podcast already.
Oh yeah, Theo Baker. Yeah, of course. But he like really is an exception to the rule. Like his bones are made out of like twiglets.
Plus, I'm not convinced that he is under the age of 50.
Also that, yeah. You know, he's the only man to come back from Turkey with less hair than he started with. Right, next one. My mate snapped his banjo, shagging his ex, and then he got driven to A&E. by both his ex's mum and his own mum. It's just like
That's a strange.
very weird,
Yeah.
very awkward time in A&E as well. I would
like
imagine.
that.
Yeah. So snaps your cock, and then your ex's mum and your mum.
Why are they together? Is my question.
God knows what's going on there. Once again, missing a lot of context.
Yeah.
That submission.
One of the funniest things I ever seen in A&E, I was like maybe 15 and I was playing like senior football.
Yeah.
So I always looked older, but I was still like fucking 15 years younger than any players I was playing against.
Yep.
And someone played a ball over the top and I was running through and it was between me and the keeper. The keeper jumped up with both his fucking knees in the air and caught me like here and on the chin.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was out, like my whole shoulder like over here was just bruised to fuck. So I went to A&E. I was waiting in the queue for like a half hour. And someone from that exact same game came in where he had went up with a header with someone.
Yeah.
And caught like the bottom of their mouth. And the person's tooth came out and stuck in his head.
Oh.
He came in, literally you could see the tooth on the side of his head. I was like, how the fuck does that happen?
Same game as well.
Yeah, same game.
Mate, the ref lost
Or sorry,
control.
same league, yeah.
Ref lost control of that match. Yeah, that's crazy. This one's hilarious. 3rd-degree burns from dropping a pancake on my foot.
How hot was the pancake?
Genuinely couldn't walk for 2 weeks. Went to the doctors about it, told them how I did it, and they went full Mr. Gilbert, excused themselves from the room and started laughing. How hot's a pancake? Like I feel like pancakes.
Yeah, you might take a bite and be like, it's not going to give you 3rd-degree burns. And also, how long did you keep it in your foot?
Yeah,
Surely your
exactly.
initial reaction
On
is
for like 1 second.
you flick it off.
Yeah, they're very good at flipping usually pancakes.
Yeah.
The whole point.
That's it. Yeah.
Our tour secretary, name redacted, was having some aggressive cuddles with his female acquaintance, girlfriend in brackets, after a beverage-filled night. Sadly, he failed to realise during said aggressive cuddles that his bowels were betraying him. In his haste to evacuate the bed, he tripped on his guitar amp, bruising his shin. Unable to move, he sadly then resigned himself to performing bowel movements on said amplifier. Kind regards, Warwick Scrabble Society. Shitting on your own guitar amp is a low moment.
I feel like that is behaviour suited of someone that joins the Scrabble Society.
He's the secretary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trips over the amp, bruised shin, which really hurts. So he's already like in pain.
Yeah.
And he's suffering the indignity of shitting on his own property. Oh, that's awesome. I was cleaning my friend's airport rifle for him.
Is that a euphemism? It sounds like it.
The airport rifle. I think it meant to say air rifle. But God knows.
Yeah.
When I was putting it back together, I ended up putting the magazine back in and cocking it. Out of pure stupidity, I then pointed it at my leg and fired it. I still have the scar.
I'm just thinking now, fucking airport rifle sounds like something that you would get in Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
It's definitely an autocorrect, I think, in this situation.
I've never heard of an airport.
Nah.
There's explicitly, they don't do airport rifles. That's the whole point. Yeah. You're a moron. Shot yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing really more to say about that. Next, my mate's dog, in brackets Jack Russell, bit my cock because I was knocking too loud on his door.
Were you in the nude, or did he bite you through? That's pretty fucking...
I wouldn't want either.
Yeah. Nah, obviously none of this is ideal, but I'm trying to think, like, surely you have a bit of protection there. It's hard for them to get specifically at it unless you're going commando.
That's true. You know about dogs? Is Jack Russell like a big dog?
I've got a couple of Jack Russells. They're like people that have small man syndrome.
Yeah.
That's Jack Russells.
So they're a small dog, but an angry dog.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got some force on the bite.
Yeah.
So I hope you've still got the other half of your knob. Not me, but my best mate from university, born and raised in the DR, it says.
Right.
Which I can only assume is the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
That's what I assumed, yeah.
Whatever that is. Let the dumbest blonde I've ever met in my life fracture his cock not once but twice in a semester. Credit where credit is due, though. Both times he said nothing and Ubered to the hospital.
It's consistent.
Huge respect.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be one of the most painful. Have you seen a video of a knob fracture?
I haven't. No, I don't know if I want to.
Right, there's a guy.
Should we get one up? We obviously can't show it, but we can react to it.
If you can find it. Honestly, it looks like the clock is reading about 6:10.
This video isn't available anymore.
Oh, no lube here. He's just typing it straight into Google, not even incognito mode. Cock fracture footage. Fracturedpenisyoutube.com. No, that's...
Nah, you know what? Fuck this. We're not getting it.
Let's just say his cock was reading about 6:10. It looks really painful. So respect to that. Next one. I got a leech on my cockhead during a hike.
You ever seen the film Stand By Me?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Happens in that, and I was always an irrational fear of mine growing up because of that.
I'm not sure that's an injury.
I wouldn't want it to happen to me.
That's
I would take every
that's a
injury on
blowy.
this list.
That's a blowy.
They are sucking, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not taking the... What's the word for it? They're not taking the liquid you'd want them to be taking.
No, not at all. I got run over by an ambulance on a motorbike.
At least they're there.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround. It's nice and ironic. This one's good. We can relate to this one because of something we did a few weeks ago. When on a school trip to Iceland, I thought I would look properly cool if I were to do the worm in front of an Austrian international student. Due to what she was wearing and the fact I hadn't handled the one-eyed trouser snake in a while, I was nursing a half chub. I dropped down and basically just started humping the floor as I forgot I couldn't do the worm in the first place. The angle of the hip thrust and the fact I was at half mast caught the trouser snake at a compromising angle. A jolt of pain came from my semi-erect, now quite misshapen willy, and it felt it was obvious what I had done. The girl looked down at me, writhing in pain on the floor, laughed and walked away, leaving me with a severely damaged knob and shattered pride. Both serious injuries. 3 years later, my shaft is back to a normal shape, but I've never gotten over it. I don't really believe this.
Also, you see, whenever you're saying we can relate to this because it's something we done a few weeks ago, and you started off with him on a trip to Iceland, I was thinking, did we go to Iceland? I don't recall that.
Yeah, we did the worm in
I
Reykjavik.
caught on at that.
I think if I did, I mean, I'm not chubbed up at the moment, but I think I could do the worm successfully with a boner and not crack my knob.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of people that hump their bed.
Are there?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know about this until a couple of my friends admitted to this, yeah. That they said, like, remember one time we were just sitting in the uni house and he was like, do you ever get that horny in the morning and you just start shagging your bed?
Which bit of it?
Just the mattress, like, I don't know, I suppose there is friction there, so it makes sense. But,
I'm imagining sort of Will from the In-Betweeners, sort of,
yeah,
like, hinge cranking it.
something along those lines. I suppose a bed is slightly softer than the floor, but I still don't see how you completely mangle your knob doing that.
It doesn't seem possible.
Nah.
Well, I wouldn't want to shag the floor either. So that's quite a bad comparison. You're saying like the bed. Oh yeah, it's definitely better to shag than the floor. But I mean, like if I had to shag anything in my house, I don't think I'd choose either of those.
What's up there with what you would?
Toilet roll.
Would you like turn it inside out somehow?
No, I get the whole roll. I just shag the roll.
Oh, so you take the tube out? Surely the tube's a bit rough around the edges.
I'd give it a spit. I'd wet it under the tap. That wouldn't work, would it?
Maybe like glue a sponge to the inside of a glass.
Yeah. Or
so you're just making fleshlights then?
Yeah, basically. What about jar of jam? That'd be good.
I like jam though. I don't want to get a hankering for it.
You don't have to eat it afterwards.
No, but that's the thing. What if I kind of get in the mood for that after?
Oh, and then you've discovered a new thing. And
yeah,
then it's
I'm not getting down that route.
You come into the office and you're just like covering yourself in jam. Oh, I love this. Bond my man, love you, mate. Anyway, next one. I once had a hypothesis. If I grabbed a cup of water and added some ice cubes, I could then put the cup in a chair, and whilst holding my dick in an upward fashion, I could ice fry my nuts to make them rigid in order to properly shave them. I ended up getting a huge cut on my scrotum that wouldn't stop bleeding for hours.
Why would you do that? That is fucking mental behaviour.
Ice fry.
Ice fry.
Were
Have you ever ice fried your ball bag?
Once I had blue balls so badly when I was like 15 that I ran a sink of cold water and just sort of dunked them in there for 20 minutes. Really helped.
Yeah.
But I've never like. It sounds like the liquid nitrogen's coming out. It feels a bit like a science experiment.
I don't want to get frostbite on my shaft or my balls. And I feel like he's sort of treading along that path.
Also, like, you don't have to get them this cold to shave your balls. Or cold at all, really.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah, I don't get. It's been a lot of cock-based injuries.
Yeah.
Today.
I have a submission that's not quite cock-based, but
I'll take it.
I feel like you like it because we recently discussed our love of Jackass.
Yeah.
I think the whole Jackass had on like our generation is absolutely mental.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I still want to go in that poo cubicle from the third film.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone ever wants listening to the whole like don't try this at home disclaimer, but it actually sort of encouraged me. And do you know like the stunts they would do on the BMXs where they'd like try standing up on it or going down a hill or something like that?
Yeah.
I was going down like the steepest hill in my area, and halfway down it I tried to stand on the seat of my bike.
Yeah,
and then
nice.
got to the bottom, actually kind of styled it out for a while, got to the bottom, car came around the corner with the fucking lights on, completely blinded me, hit a pothole straight over the fucking handlebars.
Yeah.
And I was only 10. I was out with like my dad and my brothers that were cycling with me, and they got to the bottom of the hill and I was like, right, they'll help me up, they'll bring me home. My dad shined the torch of his bike and saw trousers completely ripped into shit, my knees bleeding. He didn't think obviously anything was broken or anything, but he was like, you'll be grand, head on home. I had to walk about a mile home pushing my bike, and I got in and I was like, right, Mal sort me out here, she'll be a bit more sensitive to the issue.
Yeah.
I went in and like lay down on the bed, and I was like, right, is she going to give me paracetamol? Is she going to take me to the hospital? What's going on? Mm-hmm. She came in a panic on the phone to her mother, and her mother suggested that she put holy water on my knees. And she came in with a bottle of holy water and started.
Sorry, the fact that you have that in the house is crazy. Holy water. What even is it?
I think it's just water, to be honest. It's meant to be like blessed by a priest.
Okay.
But she came in and just started baptizing my grazed knees, and I swear to fuck, in that moment I stopped believing in God.
Yeah.
All I wanted was a bit of medical attention. Like, I ended up having like a fracture in my left knee.
Yeah.
And had to walk a mile home, and then just literally just getting fucking waterboarded.
That's like, we had a very religious guy at my school, and something bad happened to like his cousin or something, and instead of sorting the problem out, they just prayed. It's just like, mate, he's like,
just procrastination.
Yeah, he's like, he's about to lose a leg, mate. I'm not sure the praying's gonna grow it back. Oh, hello. Yes, absolutely. Good. It's Lewis, by the way. Wow, okay. Thank you so much. I've just had some news in down the wire from our legal correspondent, Lewis Clitt. This is today's news. Today, of course, being the 7th of October, 1967. The UK government has passed a landmark set of new laws entitled the Road Safety Act. There's a lot of legal bollocks in this document no one can be bothered to read. But the centrepiece, the main new law, is making it an offence to drive with a blood alcohol concentration of 80 mg per 100 ml of blood. Whatever that means. Apparently, they say having a few drinks makes you a worse driver. I mean, personally, I've always felt a lot better behind the wheel after a few bevs.
Some of the best ever driving has been done drunk.
It gives you confidence.
It's also, see like situations where there's a bit of an emergency and you need to settle the nerves before you take someone to the hospital.
Yeah.
Just have a drink.
Also, I think it improves your reaction time.
I think it's proven to do that, yeah.
Yeah, because then suddenly you feel more sort of... When you're drunk, you experience things more viscerally, I think. And, you know, if I was to get into a crash when I was drunk, I'd feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, you would. It would definitely take the edge off a bit.
Yeah, it'd be emotionally damaging to get into a car crash while sober.
It would be.
So I can't... I can't really get behind this law. They've also tried to guilt trip us as well. I'm not sure if you can see this, but on the front of the legislation, they've got a picture of a sad child. Really sad child there, which doesn't make sense to me because children can't drive anyway. So
Yeah, they shouldn't be operating a car anyway.
yeah.
Never mind with a few
So what's
drinks in
the
them.
child got to do with it?
My main thing with this is how else are people meant to get home from the pub?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Are you suggesting that people wouldn't drive home? What if you don't live near a pub?
I'm saying the people that drive to the pub, have a few drinks, they're going to have to worry about getting a taxi or sort of lift out or something. They should be able to just freely drive home.
That's true, actually. I never thought about it. I do that every day.
Yeah. And in my opinion, it's not really drunk drivers that's the issue.
How am I supposed to get home from work?
Yeah, true.
I
Right
usually
enough
have about
after this.
5 martinis at lunch.
It's not drunk drivers that's the issue. It's the drunk crashers that give them a bad name.
Isn't it true, though, that there are less drunk crashes than sober crashes?
I'd imagine 100% actually, yeah.
Right. So what's the problem?
So maybe they should drink more.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually.
We have footage here as well of people reacting to the new laws coming
really?
out about drink driving.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at the clip.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving, and pretty soon we're gonna be communist country.
The baby is providing a lot of comedy there.
She says all this with a fucking baby crawling around the passenger seat. That is mental.
To be fair, the baby looks smashed. So I'm kind of glad he's not driving.
He's doing the drinking for her.
So I've got a little stat from Lewis Clitt, our legal correspondent here. So only 1,640 people die in the UK due to drink driving every year.
Mm-hmm.
Very few.
Yeah.
And we have too many people anyway. For reference, every year, 1,700 people catch their knob in their zipper in the UK.
So that's more dangerous.
So, like, zippers are the real...
They're the real issue.
Drink driving. We're picking up on the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
If we want to improve the lives of people, we need to eliminate zippers and allow people to drink on the road. No more knob injuries. That's what I'm standing for. I'm hoping for a new piece of legislation, the Knob Safety Act.
I fully agree with your woman in this video that said it's just completely undemocratic. And
Yeah.
I also think
Communism.
this is what the liberals want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the bloody... I'm trying to remember the political context of the era we're in, but I haven't got an idea. I haven't got a bloody clue about it, to be
They
honest.
just want total control over every aspect of our life.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking sick of it. And I also think it's just this is completely against what I was just saying, but the fact that she goes from having to wear a seatbelt to America becoming a communist country, that's the line she's
It's
drawing,
awesome,
you know?
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really, really good. Anyway, to all the drivers, to anyone listening to this on their car radio, have a beer on us. Hello, welcome to Radio Rufus, Gamey Schumer, episode 15. Today we're playing the greatest game of them all, a traditional style rage ritual in which we will be releasing some demons. I'm upset about my divorce. What are you upset about?
I'm upset about women footballers not earning the same money.
Okay, perfect. So we've each got the things we're worried about, and we're going to release that anger now. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ah! Ah! Woo! Do you feel better?
I feel fucking great.
I feel the same.
I feel like we need a dustpan and a brush.
My hands hurt a little bit.
Yeah. We didn't really account for the fact of how much wood there would be flying around.
I knew that was going to happen. I just hoped we wouldn't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
I didn't mean for the cleanup process. I meant for the getting fucking hit in the eye with a flying bit of wood.
Oh, did you?
Nearly. I
Oh,
just
okay.
saw it fly past me.
This one's still not done. Oh shit, that went flying. It's quite good actually. better though?
Do you reckon that? I just broke him arm before it even got to my knee.
Thing is, I still feel quite divorced.
Yeah. I feel like this one will bring your wife back. Try it.
Okay. I won't do anything. Well, do you think it works?
I'm more content within myself after that.
Cool. Thanks for watching Gamey Schumer. Well, thank you once again for listening to another top quality episode of your favourite show and our favourite show from an unbiased perspective, Radio Rufus. As always, we'll bring you more bants and mediocre chat next time around. And don't forget, we always put out a song every week on TikTok and Instagram for you to enjoy. If you'd like to go, hop on over there, follow us, have a look at that, subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop us a rating on Spotify, a fat 5 stars. You know it deserves it. And we'll see you again next week. Back to you in the studio.